Welcome to Outnumbered on Oweleketv. It is a beautiful day right here. My name is Ramsey Enoch and I have Antonia Nwokolo. Good morning, Antonia.
Good morning, Ramsey.
Good morning, Michael Adikan.
Good morning, Ramsey. And happy new month.
Yeah, the month is new. Happy new month to our viewers out there. Let's quickly bring you to speed with the headlines for the day. From the Guardian newspaper, I have this very first headline which says that CBN frantically tighten noose on banks' FX operation speculators. And the details of that you can get on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. More headlines from the Guardian this morning. I have this one which says EFCC trace 7 billion naira to religious bodies, alleged faith leaders laundering funds for terrorists. Well, the details of that you can actually get on page 3. Is it actually a scandal? Is someone somewhere trying to play on some people's intelligence? You can find out the details from the Guardian newspaper. Then I still have this headline, which is actually going to be the last from here. Northern groups tackle Tinubu over withdrawal of 3 nations from ECOWAS. ECOWAS said they are going for negotiation. We are still waiting for what will happen. Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Will they return back to be part of ECOWAS? The details of that you can actually get on the paper for the day, which is The Guardian. And this is going to be the size of the headlines from The Guardian newspaper this morning. Let's move to the next paper.
All right, on the Nation newspaper, EFCC traces 7 billion naira fraud cash to religious group. Agency uncovers faith-based groups laundering money for terrorists. Another headline on the Nation newspaper, CBN worries over banks' excessive forex exposure. Naira depreciation, Senate invites Cardoso. I think it's high time, this is actually timely that the Senate inviting the CBN governor to know his plans. What are you doing concerning the Naira depreciation? The Naira is constantly losing value day by day. Another headline on the Nation newspaper, government to fix marina and other Lagos shorelines, third mainland ready in April. You can find the details of that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And the final story, the final headline on the Nation newspaper, Obaseki firms seal 228 billion naira deal on Benin-Asaba Expressway. Details of the story on page 3 of the Nation newspaper.
Thank you, Tonya. Vanguard newspaper this morning has it that Otedola takes over First Bank as chairman. Of course, reactions are still ongoing as the rich get richer in the country. Well, congratulations to Otedola. And the big story from the Vanguard this morning has it that the Central Bank of Nigeria clamps down on banks, pegs trade assets in forex. You can actually get this story on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. Northwest governors rule out negotiation with terrorists. As EFCC investigating ex-minister Sirinka over Nigeria air deal, Keyamo. You can actually find the story on the page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. And the last story I'm going to take on the Vanguard this morning, EFCC battles religious sector over 13 billion naira money laundering for terrorists. That's much I can take on Vanguard. Over to you.
Well, I think I love what they say there. That is actually some fake religious bodies. I think this is commendable. They should be fished out and they should face the wrath of the law because these persons come out to dent other religious bodies' names and it's not a good one at all. Since they've been fished out, they should face the wrath of the law. And finally, this morning from the Daily Trust newspaper, this big headline says, NEF, Ohanaeze, CSOs angry over Tinubu's private trip to Paris. Just one writer to that story, and the writer says he is on top of the situation. Presidency. This is amid insecurity. He's traveling. We've been talking about this, and a lot of people are still reacting to it. So that's from this Daily Trust newspaper this morning. More headlines still coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. Okay, this one says CSOs to Tinubu, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso's exit from ECOWAS poses security threats. You should know, we talked about that. Experts actually spoke about that initially. is going to pose a whole lot of threat. And I still have another headline from here, which is actually going to be the last. Naira dropped to 1,400 naira to dollar at official market. I'm talking about official market here. And just to write us to that story, and I'll call it a wrap from here. Senate summons CBN governor over free fall. It's actually free fall. The governor is not doing much. I've not really felt him. Then the second writer to that story say BDCs are closed shops. Borea the change closes his shop. Well, I don't know why that is happening. Maybe they couldn't meet up with the business anymore. This is going to be the size of the newspaper headlines this morning. You can actually walk to the vendor and pick any of these papers that catches your fancy. Go through it. And we'll go on a quick break right now. After this break, we're returning back with a big story. We already talked about it a little. Then we are going to add our voice more to the conversation after this time. Don't go nowhere, Ramsey, Antonia, and of course, Michael. We're returning back.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleketv. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
All right, they say traveling is part of education. Welcome back from that break. It is still outnumbered live on your screen. Let's take you straight to the big story. You know why we want to talk about this big story? Because a lot of people have been talking about it. Yesterday, we spoke about it just a little. But then some persons are already reacting to it. Anything that has the Ohanaezes involved in, you should know what we're talking about. Some persons may feel, well, maybe it's a regional thing, but then this is something that has to do with Nigerians. Let's quickly get to the Daily Trust newspaper, where we brought you one of the big stories from today's daily, which says NEF Ohanaeze, CSOs angry over Tinubu's private trip to Paris. Okay, let me tell you something. There is something that is common, okay, is a common factor with Nigerian presidents traveling. I don't know. Sometimes you'll be forced to ask questions like, is it a pride to say, when I was the president of this country, I tour all the countries of the world? I don't know of what benefit could that be to Nigerians. Well, in the midst of insecurity, not just in the FCT, the seat of power, but all over the country, the president traveled to Paris. Some persons say for a tour. But we are still waiting for Ngalale to come out and say something. All right. Ngalale needs to come out and say something because he's a spokesperson, right, for the president. He should say something. What's really happening in Paris? And we're expecting actions, prompt actions. All right. Immediately, people begin to kick against his traveling. We're expecting prompt action. Hey, this is what I actually traveled for. It's not just for some form of tourism. It's not just for some form of pride or anything. This is the reason I travel. We've not had anything. But this morning, it's been frowned at. I don't know what my colleagues think about this statement coming from the papers today. Are they taking this traveling too far? Because it's not only Tinubu that travels. You remember the former president, Buhari, was always away. But then we're told that it was for medical reasons. But for Paris travel by the president, His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, what is it for in the midst of insecurity? Is it communicating with the service chiefs? Well, let's add our voice to the conversation right away. Michael, one thing is common with the Nigerian presidents, and that is traveling. It has started. You know how many people went for COP28? You understand? Then now, not up to a while, he's away while your house is on fire. And we don't seem to hear anything. So what do you think about this? Can you at this point in time say, well, the president doesn't care about what is happening in his own country?
Yeah, we've carefully get to listen to know what the presidency will respond about the issues of him traveling to France. It's more than 6 days, almost a week right now. And of course, he's expected to return from the press release that was there when he traveled, that he'll be returning, I think, on the 4th or 5th of February. But the most concern of Nigerians has been the fact that he has not been on top of the game. He has not been on top of the situation. And the people that he appointed to mount several sectors of the country are not doing their job. And we expected that he was boasting about his team, that he'll be assembling experts, he'll be assembling people that can be able to drive the renewed hope agenda. And now that he's traveling, it seems things are not working. And of course, as a very sensitive president, or even as a Nigerian that is patriotic enough, you would have understand that you needed to suspend, just like a father traveling away, and then he hears that the child is sick or needs urgent attention. You see some parents who have to suspend their travel and to return back home so as to attend to, his or her child. So the moment where the president knows that what is happening now, he has not visited Ekiti, he has not visited Plateau State, he has not been there, he has not get to see what is happening and how this can actually, let him listen to the people. If you go to Plateau, the story that Plateau people will tell you, you'll be shocked that even the governor cannot solve the issue. It's bleeding. The governor set up a committee yesterday, and part of the committee members are all Christians, and the Muslims are saying that we are not inclusive. So it means that things like this needs a president to come in to intervene. You go to other part of the country that is having this issue of insecurity. You see that even the central bank, what is happening? Go to the central bank, know what is happening, get the information from the streets. You have to be on top of the game. So that's the only thing that the presidency has failed. He has to be on top of the game. Even when he's traveling, he should know that he has to come back to see how he can get this, because it's worrisome. Now Naira is almost 1,500 now. How do we go from here? How do Nigerians begin to purchase things? How do we begin to survive? Look at the fuel. Look at all of these things that he needs to fix. So he needs to urgently suspend his trip from France and return back to Nigeria to fix his mandate that he stood on Emilokan.
The Emilokan, meaning it's my turn. All right, is his turn? We're still waiting for so many things to be done. I think we've had more of promises, all right, than the fulfillment of those promises that came from the president. We're still waiting for the hope to be renewed. Let's get to Anthony now. There was a writer to that story which says the presidency have come out to say they are on top of the game, all right? Because the reason why people actually are complaining about the journey, it's because it's in the midst of insecurity situations happening all over the country. So they said they're on top of the game. So what do you think of that? Are you feeling anything?
I'm not feeling anything, and I'm sure every Nigerian out there is not feeling the effects of the actions that they are taking. All we've heard over the time is promises, and there are no clear cut-out strategies, no clear, okay, just recently, on the minimum wage, a 37-member tripartite committee was established. But that is a problem of Nigeria, but this insecurity is at an alarming rate. And there are no clear-cut strategies. We're not seeing actions. Yes, the Senate said they were going to summon the service chiefs to ask them about their strategies and all of that. And just last week, even the FCT senator said she was going to, the Senate will also summon the FCT minister. We're just hearing of all these things and we're not seeing the actions, and it's really sad. So quite frankly, the president needs to come back to be on top of the game. Let us really see that he's on top of the game, not just issuing statements, not the game being on top of him, because clearly at this point, it seems the game is on top of him. He needs to come back. Let's see things working. It's very sad, because once you go on social media or you check any news, a paper or TV station or whatever, you definitely see the insecurity, new cases coming up here and there, even kidnaps up and down, places where you would think, oh, this part of no part of Nigeria is safe anymore. You would say, oh, maybe the certain parts are safe and these places are devoid of kidnapping and abductions. But surprisingly, the next day it's on the news. So person was abducted, and it's really sad to see. So the president needs to come back and make sure that the country is in order.
The president needs to come back to make sure the country is in order. And, most times, if your father is around, like Michael was given an instance, there is this confidence that you feel, all right, when your father is around. So the absence of the president is passing across a whole lot of message. And, when message is being passed across, people understand it in different ways, and you get different forms of feedback. We don't pray for anything negative to happen, but Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding, and something needs to be done ASAP. All right, this is going to be the size of our number today. It's been a very wonderful time. Just get to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on the notification button so that you can be the first to get informations anytime we are on air. All right, but as it is right now, we want to say bye-bye for now and have a beautiful day. It's been Ramsey, Antonia, and Michael. Bye-bye for now.